Home is not always a place. Sometimes home is the moment we return to ourselves. Safety is not only about who stays, who understands, or what gets fixed around us. Sometimes safety begins when we stop abandoning our own hearts. Peace, family, and welcome to the Lunar Lounge, where astrology meets alchemy, a sacred space where we pause, breathe, listen to the sky, and bring the wisdom of the moon back into our real lives. I'm Bashia Imana, the alchemist, and founder of the Umoya Well. I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Diana Vanessa, the astrologer of Diana Vanessa Astrology. How are you, Diana?
Hi, Bashia. Hi, friends.
Diana helps us understand what is happening in the cosmos with clarity, depth, and grounded wisdom. Today, we entered the new waters of the new moon in Cancer, occurring on Tuesday, July 14th, 2026, at approximately 5:43 a.m. Eastern Time. This is a moon of tenderness, care, compassion, emotional safety, ancestry, home, and inner restoration. Cancer reminds us that our feelings are not too much. They are messengers. They are sacred waters pointing us toward what still needs love, protection, and healing. And with Mercury Retrograde also moving through Cancer, old memories, family patterns, unfinished conversations, and emotional truths may rise to the surface, not to pull us backwards, but to help us return with more wisdom. This moon is asking us to slow down, soften, and listen beneath the noise. So today, we are talking about what it means to return home, mother yourself, and soften within. Let's take a deep breath, beloved. You are in the Lunar Lounge.
Welcome to the Lunar Lounge, where the night slows down for you. Celestial rhythms moving, every breath aligns the truth. Astrology meets alchemy. Stars whisper what to do. Come sit beneath the moonlight, let the magic carry you. Flying with the stars, on a illusion. Aligning with the stars, the moon magic.
Lunar Lounge. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Lunar Lounge, where astrology meets alchemy. And we are here in this new moon in Cancer. Now, Diana, I have to tell you, this is by far one of my favorite signs to be in. My favorite new moon sign because it invites me to soften. It invites me to mother. It invites me to feel. It softens me. And not that I'm like a hard person or anything, but sometimes I keep going and going and going, and I have to remember to return to my center. And so that's where this new moon in Cancer always realigns me to that memory. I'm excited about what you are about to share. So without any further ado, tell us what's happening in the stars.
It's beautiful to see you. You look radiant. Thank you. I like Cancer moons too. Whenever the moon is in a water sign like Cancer or Pisces, it is for me also personally an opportunity to settle down a little bit more. The expression Cancer is so nurturing and protective, makes us feel like we're cozy and at home. When it's in that expression that we love, there's some beautiful things happening with this new moon that I think are going to help us get a little bit more clarity in the direction that we're going. with what I'm calling our Cancer creation story, because wherever we have Cancer in our charts is where we, or the person who represents the Cancer in our chart, has been trying to create something, give birth to something, give form to it. So we also got some challenging things that have come up, right? Especially some of the revelations that we've had since the Capricorn full moon. There have been challenges to that ability, that natural ease of softening. It just feels like the limitations are creating more pressure to go back to an old defense mechanism, Cancer, of working harder to compensate for the limitations that I've been feeling. So this is also a reminder to me that the lunar story, the lunar theme is let go and give it to God, basically.
Right, let go and let God. Yes.
Yes. We're talking about the new moon in Cancer with a real emphasis on mothering the self.
Right.
And it's a dark moon. We have the sun here and the moon next to each other in the sky at 21 degrees of the zodiac sign of Cancer. For our listeners, if you're looking at your birth chart with us, take a moment, pull up your birth chart, and find the house that contains the Cancer glyph. This is what the Cancer glyph looks like. It looks like a 69. The zodiac image for Cancer is the crab. To me, this also looks a little bit like the crab. So the house in your chart where you have this Cancer glyph shows the area of life where this Cancer new moon intention setting is taking place. So, for example, if you are a Cancer rising, which means you have Cancer here in the first house of your chart, this new moon is happening in your first house. Pay attention to what happens or shifts as the moon grows in light with you personally, like to your body, your vitality, your appearance, and your identity. If you're an Aries rising, this is the zodiac glyph for Aries. This new moon in Cancer is happening in your fourth house. So watch for changes coming through related to fourth house, which in astrology represents the home, our inner self. Parents can be found here, specifically the father and land. If you are a beautiful Libra rising, ruled by Venus, this new moon is happening in the 10th house of your birth chart. So watch for changes or your focus to be on 10th house matters, which are career, vocation, visibility, achievement, and your public life. If you are a Capricorn rising, this is the zodiac glyph for Capricorn. The new moon in Cancer is happening in your 7th house. The 7th house in astrology represents our relationships, contracts, clients, and significant one-to-one connections. This usually describes things that are happening to that partner. I did that brief example and I used the 4 cardinal signs, Cancer, Libra, Aries, and Capricorn, because those are the rising signs that are feeling the changes related to this new moon the most impactful, because changes are happening on what we call the angles of the birth chart. The first house, the 4th house, the 7th house, and the 10th house. When there's activity on these angles, it's usually said to be more impactful. Okay.
And I'm feeling that right now. I know my Cancer's in my 10th house. So, yeah. I'm feeling it.
And 10th house can also show the mother too.
Yeah.
Cancer is a cardinal water sign which means that it is an emotional initiator.
Mhm.
Cancer is ruled by the moon. It acts from feelings.
Yes.
Its natural expression is to protect, to nurture, to bond, to nest, and to defend.
Sounds like a mother.
Cancer is all of these beautiful, soft, warm, and fuzzy things, but it can act indirectly. Remember the example of the crab? The zodiac image for Cancer looks like a crab, right? And it's so interesting because some crabs do carry their shells on their backs. So they literally retreat into themselves to protect themselves. And those crabs, if you ever watched a crab move, they like sidestep.
They move sideways, right?
Cancer expression on the shadow side gets a rep for being passive aggressive, sort of sidestepping issues instead of speaking them
Dealing with it head on.
Yep. Can be emotionally manipulative in a way. Cancer wants confirmation or affirmation. It wants reassurance. And sometimes instead of being direct about what it wants or needs, it may say nothing. It can withdraw. It might test people. It might cook for everyone for months without complaining. And then a full moon comes, and next thing you know, we finding out you really resentful of the fact that you've been cooking all these wonderful meals for the family for God knows how many months. So Cancer expression, just like any other zodiac sign, the expression of them, their levels and their ranges and their spectrums to it. Expressing well, Cancer functions like the healthy mothering instinct, a hospitable home builder or chef, a memory keeper. Cancer, it keeps the memories. When it's not expressing well, there can be moodiness, clinginess, overgiving, martyrdom, defensiveness, nostalgia traps. Cancer likes to go back to when times were better. There's also a lot of nostalgia with Cancer. That's why they are such good historians. I've been noticing with this Mercury retrograde, there's been a lot of longing for old people, places, and things. Then there's also tribalism with Cancer. One of the shadow sides of Cancer that I've seen is racism. I noticed whenever there are major activations of the cardinal signs, particularly across the Cancer and the Capricorn axis, that there's a lot of racial tension that results. So that side of Cancer shows up when the person or the place or the thing does not feel safe, does not feel seen, doesn't feel chosen, does not feel protected or emotionally held. This particular zone of Cancer has imagery that's associated with an acute desire for abundance in material things, in the abundance of nurture, care, emotional safety. But there's also a challenge that can show up around lack and what happens when we don't receive the protection, the softness that Cancer can promise.
That's interesting that you said that, Diana, because in my workbook, one of the questions that I posed was, what part of me is ready to be loved differently?
And that's a big theme that's been coming up because with Cancer, the defense mechanisms that we inherit or that get encoded within our family structure can pull us back into what I was describing earlier, that pattern of overdoing to make up for the lack. And so there are things that we have to release and do a new way under this new moon.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been saying over and over again, or even thinking to the point where it almost feels like a mantra this Cancer season, is this is not working for me anymore, right? Like moving this way is not working for me anymore. This type of interaction is not working for me anymore. This type of overgiving and overdoing and being burnt out is not working for me anymore.
Yeah, you're already speaking to the fact that we already have the clues of what new intentions we want to plant here and watch grow for us so that we can have with ease the safety, the nurture that we need. The sun shines light, a big bright light on our conscious awareness. And so we've been very aware of these Cancer themes this whole time that the sun has been moving through Cancer, right? And then on top of that, Mercury has been in Cancer And it's in the middle of a retrograde. You can see here that Mercury has the little RX, RX for needs remediation, reorientation, like needs medicine right now.
Right. It needs some medicine right now.
What medicine has Mercury been trying to get us to pay attention to? Yeah, through those communications. I've been noticing how I feel in my body when I receive messages.
That's right.
Mercury has been speaking to each of us, wherever we have this Cancer in our charts, through our emotions, through our bodies, through these stories around family.
Old conversations, the family stories, the memories, misunderstandings, like unspoken truths. All of those things are just kind of rising up to the surface.
Yes. Yep, 100%. So we've got the clues. We had the full moon in Capricorn 2 weeks ago. We saw where we need the reconstruction, reorientation, where we need the dad energy.
Right.
Now we're like, okay, I saw that data. It could be I loved what I saw and I just want to continue that. Or it could be I saw that I need a lot more support.
Right.
So I'm going to release these things that have been holding me back. And I'm going to see some intentions to receive that support that we need.
Yeah, it's like Capricorn came in and did a SWOT analysis. And then Cancer comes in and is like, okay, what do you need? How are we going to protect ourselves? What needs tenderness? What needs truth? What needs to be nurtured?
Mercury is moving backwards through Cancer here. It's co-present with the sun and the moon. Mercury is working overtime. Mercury is important because it's running a lot of other real estate in the chart right now. And another way to say that is Mercury is the planet that is giving support to other areas of the chart. And the fact that it's retrograde means that those areas of life are experiencing some form of delay or reorientation as well. Cancer is not Mercury's home territory. Mercury is the ruler or the governor of Gemini. This is the zodiac glyph for Gemini. Looks like the Roman numeral 2 here represents the twins. And then Mercury is also the ruler or governor of Virgo down here. So wherever each of us has Gemini or Virgo in our charts, that area of our life is also seeing a Mercury retrograde story play out. Let's use this chart for example. This Mercury retrograde in Cancer is a pause, delays. When a planet's not moving direct, it's said to symbolically represent that it's not at full strength to give the support that it may otherwise be able to give to the other planets and points that are hanging out in the areas of the chart that Mercury governs. So for example, this is the Cancer rising chart. Cancer risings have Virgo in their third house. So third house themes are experiencing a little bit of a slowdown or reorientation as well for Cancer risings because they have Virgo here. And what does this represent? The third house represents the local environment, something about the community, maybe something about siblings. Siblings are also found in the third house. So for Cancer risings, I'd be asking the question, have you been noticing some conversations that have gone awry with your siblings or your cousins? Maybe there is a project that you're working on, Virgo, that you're now having to revisit because Mercury isn't moving direct. Mercury also is the ruler of this Gemini house for a Cancer rising. This is the 12th house. A 12th house in astrology is connected to our subconscious, our dream state, places of isolation or solitude. It's the house of therapy. It's the house of grief. It's the house where we self-sabotage. So there may be situations with Cancer rising where there's been some slowdown, maybe a delay, maybe some deepening or probing into the subconscious mind of the Cancer risings right now as a result of Mercury not moving direct at this point. The 12th house can also represent hospitals and asylums and prisons. This could be revisiting a relative in the hospital right now, or someone's taking a retreat. So that's what I meant. What Mercury is doing is also impacting the territory or real estate that Mercury typically governs. In your chart, your Virgo is in your 12th house. Are you revisiting maybe subconscious dynamics where you have been like the servant help, like you've jumped in to martyr yourself subconsciously for people?
Absolutely.
Maybe some things are coming up around that.
Yep.
To get you to see them more clearly.
Yep.
And then with Gemini being in your ninth house of higher learning, education, formal study, there may be a pause or a reorienting or you revising curriculum. Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening. Somebody was like, "Aren't you in a PhD program?" And I was like, "Thanks for reminding me, because I totally have put that on pause." Yeah, I've got to revamp some stuff.
I have Virgo in my 4th house of home and family. I'm doing things in my house. One of the revelations I've received, it was indirect, but I heard from a family member that I didn't ask for help enough. Like they didn't know that I needed more support.
Right.
And that triggered me because I've been priding myself on how I've been doing less Capricorn and I've been trying my hardest to really receive, because I realized how much not receiving and always overgiving was messing me up karmically, frankly speaking.
Right,
Okay. Because I was not opening myself up to receive. And so what was happening was I was always giving, even when I didn't want to.
Right.
So to hear that feedback, I was like, oh, wow. People don't know I need help. I feel like I've been screaming it from the top of my lungs. I've been so honest.
Right.
I'm a pretty reserved person when it comes to my business, but in my mind, I'm telling everyone everything. And
Right.
so when I heard that, I was in my feelings about it, Mercury in Cancer. And I went and I made a specific ask for help to help me clean up some stuff in my house. I'll see what happens after the new moon, see if that comes through. As you were saying, I needed to let go of the moodiness and defensiveness when I heard that feedback and immediately stepped into, well, I'm going to make sure I ask for help and let
That's right.
this particular person know that, hey, this is what I heard and here's what I need. Going back to Mercury. Mercury is going to go into a Kazimi with the sun in Cancer on Sunday at 9:24 p.m. So it's going to be after our new moon circle.
Okay. And so what does the Kazimi bring?
So when there's a Kazimi, the planet is getting burnt up by the sun. Okay. So it's like a moment of like straight up destruction because temporarily the planet is said to be consumed by the hot glare of the sun. Whatever this Mercury represents, communications, messages, commerce, money, between now and Sunday night, there's likely to be some kind of combustion. Something falls apart. Maybe a communication fails. Pay attention to there being, I'm getting communication snafus. Kazimis are said to be auspicious. After that death happens, there's a rebirth where the planet is said to basically be received by the sun. One of my astrology teachers described it as like, if the sun is the king, it's like Mercury is being received in the king's court. That suggests to me that despite a momentary breakdown in communication or something related to Mercury, there is an opportunity to go directly to the sun to get some support that the sun will give, is one way to look at it.
So then there's breakthrough.
There's a breakthrough.
With that support.
Exactly. Kazimis are said to bring clarity, a new sense of direction, an insight. If you don't see this happening at 9:24 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, if it doesn't happen the same day, don't sweat it. Now, if you are paying attention and you have a moment to meditate and be someplace quiet and calm where you can really pay attention to the feedback in your environment, please take some time to sit in quiet during the Kazimi hours after 9:24 p.m. on Sunday and see if any revelations, insights come through for you over the next few days. This Kazimi is going to be happening at 20 degrees of Cancer. So it's close to where the new moon is happening. There is the potential to receive help. And it's going to come through some form of message or communication for someone like a solar person, or something will come through. My hope and anticipation for you is that something comes through that is helpful that you can take with you into the new moon on Tuesday morning.
That's good.
Use this time to continue to give yourself all the grace to stay slow, move with intention, and not have to rush decisions until after August the 6th, unless you've got something that has to be decided during this time. Are you ready for Venus?
I'm ready for Venus.
During this new moon in Cancer, Venus is now sitting in Mercury's house. Venus is the planet of beauty, love, and attraction. Venus is in Mercury's house during this new moon. Venus is in Virgo. When Venus is in Virgo, Venus shows up as a Venus that is interested in devoted service, practicality, and real support. Venus is feminine. Negative manifestations of this would be women basically showing up as like slave labor, women being criticized, or women who are showing up in a lot more of that critical, like, oh, I didn't do this right. I'm a failure. I'm taking forever to do this PhD program. Like, it's that judgment. It's meant to be analytical and an observation, but oftentimes when people hear Virgo, they hear criticism.
Right. Criticism
so-
and judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Venus in Virgo gives service as love. Acts of service are Venus' love language when it's in Virgo. Venus is in Virgo until around August 6th. I think we're going to be appreciating the people who are there to lend us practical support. We're going to be gravitating more towards those people. People who give us solid and easy to use wellness advice. Venus in Virgo is somebody who's giving us tips on how to make ourselves well.
Speaking of that, I started to work on your Ayurvedic stuff. So
I'm excited for it. I couldn't remember which dosha I was, but it was consistent across the board, like with each of the tests you gave me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So that's what we're going to be appreciating right now. Venus in Virgo is not looking for any extravagance necessarily. What Venus in Virgo is looking for are people who are reliable, who show up. Look where Venus is at. Venus is here on the South Node, which is the point of release. Venus with the South Node is a purge. It's a cleaning. So wherever we have Virgo in our charts is where we may also be doing something to clean or purge or make more beautiful. Venus is also meeting up with Mars. They're going to meet up in a square. So this is the principle of the feminine with the masculine, or the desire with the drive and action. And they're meeting up in the square formation. I love to put the squares in here to show people the tension that's building. So Venus is the faster moving planet. Venus is meeting up with, Venus is meeting up with Chiron in Taurus first. So what that tells me is we're releasing things related to the body, related to wellness. Chiron is a wound. Pay attention to maybe wounds that come up around beauty. For example, with Venus aspecting Chiron here in Taurus. Venus is first going to square Uranus in Gemini, and then it's going to square Mars here. I would never advise anyone to get married under transits like this. I'm going to be real with you. This is like, like man and wife at odds with each other. And then there's a splitting up, a cutting. I'm getting like Venus is not cutting any cards. I see relationships being tested by this. Are you with me? Are you all talk, or are you showing up with some practical support and actions?
Right.
Venus is going to desire the people who show up for Venus. So you're not showing up for Venus. Venus is going to have tension with Mars and is going to be more ready to pull the Uranus. I'm out indicator. So then with Venus meeting up with Uranus, meeting up with Mars, next to one node, opposing the other one, and then also having this conversation with Chiron, it just feels like as Venus moves through Virgo, we're going to be moving into tense alignments there is going to be some tension between masculine, feminine, our desires versus our drive and our will.
Ooh, so what do? How do we show up? I think at first you have the awareness.
The awareness is key and critical.
Right.
This Uranus really did show up as chaos gremlin energy like last week. It was like when the triggers are short, I didn't have a lot of patience last week because I could feel myself, for example, reacting to things that normally wouldn't bother me.
Uh-huh.
So the awareness is key. Grounding ourselves remains always key. I'm still making time to go outside and give myself toes to grass time, even
Yeah.
when it's raining outside. We had a beautiful storm earlier today. I just opened the door and I put my head outside like a big giraffe just to feel the water in my face. So I think that's helpful. And then just to know we're moving into a very dynamic period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's important for us to be practical about what we need right now, right? Because
Right.
this story is about going back to how are we mothering ourselves? How are we giving ourselves the support that we need?
As I'm looking at it, as I'm listening, and I'm thinking about all the things that are going on in my life and some lives of my friends, and I'm just like, Bashia, remember to stay soft.
Yes.
And then those things that you may desire that you're not getting from others, give it to yourself.
Yes.
Right? Give it to yourself. You can do that. If you want flowers, give it to yourself. If you
Amen.
want to go out on a date, give it to yourself, right? And that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. You nurture, you love up on yourself. And I'm saying that for everybody out there. I'm not saying that specifically for me. But as I'm looking at this tension, I'm like, hold up, if that shows up, remember that Cancer energy to stay soft, to nurture yourself.
And the other suggestion I would give is that as much as I would love for Venus to be in charge of this situation here between Venus and Mars, Mars is in the superior position here.
Mhm.
So this means that the actions are going to be driving Venus's decisions. And so
Okay.
just be clear on what it is you want to achieve because Mars in Gemini is a dual-minded Mars. It could be inconsistent actions. Grounding helps me decide which direction I need to go in.
Absolutely.
Venus wants to do it one way because that's the right way to do it, and Mars is like, absolutely not. And then Mars has the upper hand. I saw someone on Threads post earlier tonight. I think this was a joke. She had wrote that she had succumbed to the nostalgia, and despite the Mercury retrograde and advice of her therapist, she was going back to her ex, who told her that he missed her and loved her. And I commented the old adage that actions speak louder than words.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And I told her to bring back some receipts later in the year when Mercury and Venus are doing a retrograde in Scorpio. And it also made me think when I thought of that, I said, okay, that's interesting. These actions, Mars, need to speak louder than the words that Mars is using. Because Mars in Gemini is a talker, okay? Can be a talker, can be somebody who talks out of both sides of their mouth. So it's watch for the actions. What is actually showing up? Not just the professions of love, right? If we've been craving the old thing back, the old thing has been coming back. And make sure the old thing is doing things a new way. There was a reason why it was an old thing before, is one way I was thinking about that. So pay attention to the actions. If you're getting a lot of talk, as Mars continues to move here through Gemini, Mars is going to be connecting with Saturn. They're already almost within range of each other. And even though Saturn's going to be retrograde at the end of the month, I think right now until the end of the month, this Mars contact with Saturn can also help us move with more intention. Saturn is about stabilizing, maturity, giving structure. So if we use this Mars right, we may be able to get some support from this Saturn to really just move with more disciplines and intention. Another positive expression of this is communication, clear communications that's supported by mature actions. Saturn is literally front and center in this chart right here.
Right.
Top of the chart, very visible. And this Saturn at 14 degrees of Aries has been showing up as the limitation, the aging thing, the thing that's obsolete, the thing that we're not doing anymore.
Not doing that no more.
Yeah. And it's also showing
It's loud. Yeah.
exactly.
Yes. We're not doing that anymore.
It's also shown up as where have we met a limitation on a new thing and how can we respond constructively to it?
Can you give me an example of what
Yeah.
that might look like?
So, for example, do you remember how I told you my AC unit?
Yes.
Well, it broke again.
Again?
Yeah, it broke again, and I'm not surprised at all.
Oh my goodness.
But it broke last week, and you remember what the temperatures were like last week.
Sweltering.
In my chart, Saturn is showing up as like the old obsolete things in my house that need repair
Mm-hmm.
that have reached their limit.
Mm-hmm.
And so what it did was it's created like an additional hurdle for me that I have to deal with now that that quick fix that we did before wasn't enough to keep the unit going
Mm-hmm.
for the duration of the summer. Now I'm at the stage where they're like, okay, we'll try this other thing. You might be looking at a $9,000 bill for a new unit.
Oh my goodness.
And even a better example that you're going to resonate with is that Saturn in Aries is showing up as the heating and drying conditions that make things older or that makes them wither and die.
Okay.
And as an example of this is during the new moon, we planted new baby plants together.
Yes.
And I shared pictures with you of my baby plant, which has been growing so lovely and luscious. I was admiring my beautiful baby plant every day.
Uh-huh.
And because of the heat in my house, my baby plant has all of the leaves withered.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm growing this baby plant and the heat in my house, the AC unit's not working and it creates unbearable heating situation in my house that basically like stunted the growth of my baby plant.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to rehab her. I put her outside and then I had to bring her back in because of the storm earlier today. But
Mhm.
yeah, it was a literal manifestation of what these hot and dry conditions,
Mhm.
whether that means the actual atmosphere within my home or it
Mhm.
means a machine, an old appliance that needs to be fixed basically.
Right, or replaced.
Yeah, creating those limiting circumstances. When you
Right.
described to me earlier, those alarms going off,
Right.
the
Every
battery,
last alarm is going off in my house, so much so that I had to leave.
the batteries. Think about it. I was trying to figure out what does that mean when all of the batteries need to be replaced.
Uh-huh.
So those are old, obsolete
Interesting. Yeah.
things that created a limitation, right? You left
I left.
because the noise was creating a limitation in the space that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So does that help you see the
Yeah.
different ways in which Saturn can be showing up as an impediment? And how do we respond constructively to it? I didn't drop down on my knees and start throwing ashes on myself when the AC guy quoted me, started asking me if I'm ready to go pay for this new unit. I kept it together.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the result of me taking myself outside and putting some toasted grass. But I did feel I was like, dang,
Right.
you know?
Wow.
So Saturn literally looks like it's at a crossroads here. And I feel for everyone who has placements in the cardinal signs because this Saturn has really, really, really been showing up. I'm hearing it from everyone who I'm talking to. This Saturn has been showing up as creating a lot of pressure for people who have Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra placements in their chart because those are the houses, those are the areas of the chart that are getting the most direct impacts. And so this same Saturn is going to be stationing right at this degree point where it is now For the next 5 or 6 months, Saturn, we're going to have opportunities to shore up what has been basically creating the impediments. Maybe we'll have an opportunity to figure out how to move the thing. This is an opportunity for us to exercise more maturity, more patience, more discipline to create the new structure or put in the new piece of appliance or change the new batteries or rehab this plant. There's an opportunity for us to go and with maturity, with a sense of we can do this, we have an opportunity during that retrograde to review what needs to be addressed.
You brought up the battery situation, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, what could the spiritual significance in alignment with this Cancer new moon and some of the other planet placements, like what message is it telling me? Because I don't believe anything is happenstance. I believe everything has purpose. And for me, the first thing that came to my mind was that my protection systems are being asked to be restored.
Whoa.
My protection systems are being asked to be restored. And so for all of the batteries to be running on low and being, it's like spirit is asking me, where am I depleted, but I'm still trying to protect everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Where have I ignored the small warning signs in my body, in my home, in my work, in my spirit? What needs maintenance before it becomes an emergency?
That's a word right there.
Right. What needs maintenance before it becomes an emergency?
Mm-hmm.
And where do I need to stop overriding the signal? Because it's like, because even like what I'm doing now, it was like, oh, everything is beeping. It's an emergency. Instead of handling it, I ran away. I'm just going to go somewhere else. But I do need to address the situation.
Yep. Yep. I have nothing to say. No notes.
Uh-huh.
And what's also helping that is that Neptune stationed retrograde earlier this week. And when Neptune, the planet of spirituality, dreams, deception, illusion, and the unseen turns retrograde, this is also the time where our rose-colored glasses come off.
Mm-hmm. And you see
So
what it is.
exactly, seeing things exactly for what they are. So over these next several months, while Neptune is retrograde, we're also seeing clearly where things around our desires, our ideologies, and the stories we've been telling ourselves about what we've been trying to initiate, those are going to be very clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The sky is super busy this month. And so I'm going to try to whip through Jupiter and Leo and then wrap this baby up.
Okay.
Okay. So the last time we talked, we previewed Jupiter and Leo. Jupiter is already at 3 degrees of Leo. And what I love about this Jupiter in Leo transit for the next 12 months is that Jupiter here can amplify our confidence, our creativity, our visibility,
Mm-hmm.
and the desire to be seen. It can help us take up more space and express ourselves more boldly. Jupiter can also amplify the desire to be seen in ways that are more superficial or vain.
Hmm.
So one way that comes up is when we're looking at the metrics of social media, for example, and we don't have as many likes or follows. Those things will typically show up to see whether we're doing things because we're authentically meant to be doing them or whether we're performing for vanity metrics. Yeah. So I want people to be also paying attention to if you're falling into the trap of, oh my God, no one liked what I just put out there.
Right.
That's a Jupiter and Leo story too.
Right.
Why are we doing this work? Are we doing it because we want to have more viewers, more likes? Are we doing it because work really matters?
Right.
Jupiter is also in direct conversations with Pluto here in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries, and Saturn, okay? If you notice, these outer planets are all at almost 4 degrees of each of these placements.
Right.
This is really heralding that we are moving into a time of what I feel like is some accelerated change. I think several years from now, we're going to be talking about how quickly things turn.
Right.
Outer planet changes typically take a longer time to unfold, much longer time to unfold. But given that these are unfolding in air and fire signs, fire, air, air, fire, there's a little bit more accelerant on
Right.
the air and the fire signs than the earth and the water. And so one of the ways this Jupiter and Pluto is showing up is going to be tension between the self and the system. Okay. How are we standing out from the crowd or the chorus or the system? This can also show up as authorities trying to impose more of their will. People in authority who may try to oppose the will of the people.
Mm.
Okay, so this could be leaders in groups who are taking power or trying to claw power over the people that they are stewarded with leading. It's also exposing the ways in which we have accumulated wealth in many ways, because we've also got this Chiron story really intimately creating tension with what's happening with the outer planets. And so with all these outer planet configurations happening, they're getting tighter. We're talking July 18th, 19th. These configurations are going to be getting tighter in closeness. And so we may not be seeing everything happen right away because, again, these are outer planet lineups. But when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing growth, I'm seeing change, I'm seeing this air and fire stories being, especially the fire, being encouraged to speak up, to do something differently. How are we accelerating our growth through these changes happening? We'll talk more about this at the full moon in Aquarius on July 29, when the Sun and Jupiter are going to be together in their own Kazimi. And so this will bring up some clarity around confidence, visibility, leadership.
Diana, if we wanted to kind of like synthesize this and bring it all together and give us some direction as far as like how to move during this new moon in Cancer, what would you say?
So to bring it all together, this Cancer new moon is asking us to notice where we have a new story or cycle growing around care, protection, family, and belonging. And just be intentional about what we're seeding into that story. Because this Mercury retrograde in Cancer is still encouraging us to slow down, listen to the messages that are coming through our feelings, our bodies,
Yes.
our memories. And then Venus in Virgo is asking us whether the care that we're receiving is actually useful. Is that support practical? Is
Right.
that support just giving lip service?
Right.
Or is it through Mars reminding us and showing us that actions speak louder than words?
Mm-hmm.
Saturn in Aries is asking us to move with maturity and intention. And what did you say earlier about taking care of? You said it perfectly earlier.
I say about,
Um,
I was saying my protection systems are asking to be restored.
yes, yes. So, like you said earlier, Saturn is asking us to restore the structure of our protection systems.
Yeah, yeah.
Neptune retrograde in Aries is helping the rose-colored glasses come off so we can see clearly. Jupiter in Leo is amplifying the desire to grow, create, lead, and be seen without confusing visibility with validation.
Right.
So I think for this new moon, we're learning how to mother ourselves differently and with no cut cards in our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are we noticing over the next 30 days around care, around this practical support and protection for that new growth we're trying to sustain?
Good stuff. Good stuff. Again, one of the reasons why new moon in Cancer in the Cancer season is one of my favorites.
So what are you going to do? We're meeting for the new moon sister circle, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Right.
But if someone is not able to join us for the sister circle, what is something that you would recommend for a woman, someone who's running into a similar struggle to what I just described earlier?
First and foremost, I would say get the new moon workbook and make
Yes.
sure that they get your newsletter. I have spent a lot of deep reflection, intuitive time in this particular workbook. I have had so much fun and I've poured so much love into it because I really want it to transform people's lives. There's a lot of journal prompts which require you to go deep. In the workbook, there is a guide to doing a new moon ritual that is in alignment with this new moon in Cancer. So it has to do with water, it has to do with coming home to self. It's really a beautiful ritual. And I don't want anybody to get all spooked out and woo woo when I say ritual every time you brush your teeth in the morning. That's a ritual. Every time you sing happy birthday on someone's birthday, that is a ritual. So what we're doing is one that really centers ourselves. It's a ritual that we do to care for, to nurture, to mother, to protect ourselves. And it's really about saying prayers and affirmations and writing your intentions, grounding and realigning to this beautiful Cancer energy. I would say get your newsletters, spend some time around water, right? You know, go to a river or a lake or to a beach during the quiet time, right? New moon, we want to really kind of chill out. As I was thinking about our new moon circle on Sunday, I was like, I have blankets, but I want people to bring like their favorite blanket so that they can just kind of curl up in it and get cozy. I think I'm going to definitely do the golden milk because it's so nurturing. It is so nurturing. That's another great beverage that people can drink during that time. Very easy to make. You can actually get them pre-made. Gaia has an incredible already prepared golden milk, and I like to put it in a non-dairy type of milk and put a little bit of sweetener in there, and it is just going to completely ground you and it feels just like a warm hug. So those are some of the things that I would suggest. Now, we're both Capricorns. Do you find that you're doing things around the house? Like my family went out of town and they were like, are you coming? And I was like, no, I just want to be home. And I'm doing like a deep clean of the house. I'm setting things up. I purchased some furniture to try to spruce things up, and I'm thinking about what I want to paint, but I'm not moving with like a sense of urgency. It's not a stressful. I've got my good music going, and I'm doing it in a really calm, relaxed, methodical, loving way. So it's like I'm the mother, and I want to make this such a warm, fuzzy home full of love where everybody feels really comfortable. It's so interesting how I naturally begin to move with the cycles and the seasons before I do the look. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm already in alignment. I think that's just because we are spiritual beings, right? We are connected to the cosmos. So no matter what, there's something inside of us that's going to pull us into alignment. And usually when we're not in alignment, that's because we're working really hard to be going against, or we've been so busy with what I like to call these weapons of mass distraction, whether those be scrolling, on your phones or watching nonsense on TV or just getting caught up in some of the more destructive ways of the world. But when you tune those things out and you tune in and you spend time in nature, it's just natural that you're going to fall in alignment with what we like to call the creator's calendar. If folks are listening and you're like, wow, Diana said a lot of great things, but I don't know how to read my chart and I don't know where this and that is on my chart, then do a discovery call with Diana. Sign up and have a reading done. The new moon is a perfect time because that's the start. Find out where you are right now. Diana, how do people get in touch with you?
To get in touch with me, go to my website at dianavanessa.com. You'll find it in the description. As you mentioned, for new clients, I'm offering 15-minute discovery calls where we could take a look at where this Cancer new moon is happening in your chart. and I can give you some practical tips for how to work with it. I'm cheesing because I'm looking forward to the golden milk. It's so yummy. Oh my God. It just brought me back to when I first started just trying to figure out how to work with the moon before I met you. I was just experimenting, and it just reminded me how much fun it is to just work with the moon in that way.
Absolutely.
And the other question I had for you is, how are people going to get the workbook if they're not going to the new moon circle?
So we have a Flowdesk link, and we'll put that in the description notes. So just click on the Flowdesk link. So a lot of times you can sign up for different folks who do things with the moon, and you might get like a one pager with like 3 questions, and that might work for some people.
No, these workbooks are
My workbooks are like 20 pages long because I want you to do the work.
yeah.
Right? I don't want just something quick and easy. I want you to ground into the energy of the new moon, and you're going to find out what does that mean for your body. So like Cancer, we're talking about the womb, we're talking about all these beautiful areas. How do you work with those things? Yeah. And then there's 3 pages of reflection questions. My background is as a life coach, and so I'm giving you some transformative or transformational questions that require you to dive deep and unpeel that onion, so that you can do the work. And then you're setting your intentions. And I love to include prayers so that your prayers are aligned. And of course, you can modify it and make it what you need it to be for you. But here's a landing place for you.
Your workbooks are tremendous. They take the guesswork out of doing work under the new moon. It's great for people who are looking for ideas and just want to be gently guided in a very, I'll say, peaceful and cathartic. It's just different when I take the time to sit with your workbooks.
You know, one of the things that has really been beneficial to me is I've been hole punching all of the workbooks, and I've put them in one binder for the year. And just to see the work for the year and how I've evolved as a result of it. Like, it's a beautiful thing. This is my love offering to, everyone that we serve. At the same time, it is a love offering to myself. I do the work. I do the work that's in the work. I need it just as much as I hope everyone else here listening needs it.
Yes.